Tour junkies.
Going on, Golf Addict 2024 PGA Championship DFS DraftKings preview from Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. I am DB. Got Pat Perry with me. Pat,
Yes.
how you doing?
Why are you smirking like that?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if, like, in the last 24 hours since we did the betting show, if you've like kind of thought about anything, or if you've kind of like maybe have some, some regrets or anything anything that you think about that you did on the betting show that you maybe wish you wouldn't have done in a certain way.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Things get out on the internet and you lose bets, and this is what happens.
Have we
Did I
seen
think
anything? I gotta be honest. I'm a little disappointed. I don't.
Oh, no, they're all building it. They're all building out the
Are they
things that
building it?
yeah.
Are the
I
little
did take
mini-
5 showers today.
Did you use
5
that same
showers.
bar of soap? Did you use the
I
same bar of
did.
soap?
I just needed to get all the dirtiness out of me.
Bro, I hope you didn't continue to pleasure that bar of soap, man, because you might be taking it too far.
No, I did not.
I did think that was an underrated part of that video yesterday is Pat goes, okay, lost the bet, Masters bet, Nick Taylor, you dirty Canadian, new bar of soap. I don't know if I would have thought about, I got to make sure this is a new
Oh,
bar
I would
of
have
soap.
definitely thought about that. That was one of the first things I thought about. Tony, that's kind of weird.
Speaks more to me and my grossness.
Yeah.
There was I did not want a used bar of soap for many reasons.
Now that dang thing is used now. I'll tell you that. That is the
Yeah.
most used bar. That thing is a different shape after all you went and did to it yesterday. You could have damn chiseled that thing into a flamingo.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's kind of a party trick. You could.
It's not as poignant of a taste in your mouth, like why you're doing it. But
Yeah.
there's a it's like an aftertaste of badness.
Hey, kids want to see a party trick?
Mama, Uncle Pat's. Listen, if people are like, what is going on? It just, Pat paid off a bet on the betting show. He had to wash his mouth out with soap. And let me just say, I don't know that that's how Mama intended it to be done. And Pat just completely went in and did it. Made Lisa Ann blush is the word on the street, but did a great job. And I can't stop thinking about it. So anyway, I just wanted to know, but that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. We're not going to replay the video. If you want to watch it, you can go back and watch the betting show. It's amazing. Hope you do go back and watch the betting show. Plus, the Valhalla Golf Club course breakdown video that I did dropped over the weekend. If you haven't already seen that and you want more details on how this golf course is set up, how it's looking, it's a good video. I'll show you a flyover so we can look at the video together, screen share that. Our friends at Bet the Number had already been to Valhalla earlier in the week, giving me a couple of little tips. They had released the Bet the Number proprietary model. We took a little dive into some of the things that Bet the Number was showing us. I opened up my model and shared the screen. It's about a 30-minute video. It's a good starter to the week. It's a really good starter to the week. So we're not going to get into all the core stuff today. We're going to get straight into the DFS stuff, DFS conversation. Things to remember. We got some contests, some giveaways today. Giving away, actually, Pat, giving away nearly $400, $375 in Swannies online gift cards tonight and this week. I said last night on the show, on the betting show, there's $100 per gift card. Swannies emailed me and they were like, you know what? Make it $125. So we got 3 $125 gift cards to give away this week from our friends at Swannies. Swannies.co is the link. It's in the description. All you have to do to win one of those is just comment on one of our YouTube videos this week. If it's about the PGA Championship, whether it's the course breakdown video, the betting video, this video, I'm gonna do an underdog live draft coming up. Any video that pops up on the YouTube channel this week, just comment, write a comment. I guarantee you, if you watch the betting show, you will have something to comment on. But just put in a comment. It helps out the algorithm. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel while you're there. Give us some constructive criticism, maybe something you agree with or disagree with. But anyone who comments is going to be eligible. We're going to draw 3 winners, and each of those winners will get a $125 Swannies gift card. And we appreciate Swannies for hooking us up. I'm wearing my Golf is Easy t-shirt tonight by Swannies, which I played golf, and it's not easy. I will say that. It's still not easy for me.
It looks like
but
you got a little sun today.
I did, and it was overcast, dude. Not enough
what
people.
did you do?
Not enough people talk about that. Not enough people talk about it. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
Days and sunblock.
Yeah, it actually rained. Like, it literally rained for 4 holes. 4 straight holes. It was wet. That's why I took my hat off, because my hat was getting wet, and I had my white Tiger Swanee hat on, and I didn't want it to get like nasty. So I took it off, and then I just didn't put it back on after the rain. But it was overcast all day, and my face is like radiating.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it is warm. It's quite warm in here. But anyway, thanks to our friends at Swannies for hooking us up. And Pat, you there were 2 videos on the betting show last night that really were great. But one of them, you showed off a little something. You want to tee that up? I think this is worth seeing again, even if you watched the betting show. But for those who didn't, this is a must.
Well, this is my OOTD, which is the outfit of the day. If you're not, with all the sorority girls and stuff like I am, like I'm in the know with what's going on in the sororities, in the campuses. And, I wanted to show off what I was going to wear for the episode.
Are they doing those in the like Hamas encampments around like
No. This is I don't think they have those encampments in these schools that I'm talking about. We're talking about the Alabamas.
These are SEC schools.
SEC schools that they don't tolerate some of that. So but they like to show off their OOTD. And last week on the show we said that I was going to show up in all my Swannies gear, like it looked just like a pro, like a tour pro. So I wanted to show off what I was going to wear. So this is the video I came up with. Now, and I think I did a good job.
Let's take a look.
Hey y'all, Pat Perry with the Tour Junkies here. Time for a little OOTD for the PGA Championship betting and DFS shows. I'm going to start with my Swannies polo. We got some joggers from Swannies. We got a black belt from Amazon. We got some FJs. We got some olive skin ankles from my mom. And then we got a Swannies hat.
Still makes
Boom.
Also, it can't be the intro, the hey y'all, that also can't be
that came from my sorority girlfriends. That's how they say it every time. Hey y'all, here's my OOTD.
You nailed it, dude. Pat wearing joggers, man. Those things look really good on you, man. They look good. I gotta be honest.
I like them, man. They are very comfortable.
Guys,
I didn't mind the ankles like breathing a little bit.
And I'm telling you, man, I mean, we got some, we've been doing this 9 years. Like some of our listeners are getting older, and they're thinking, man, I don't know if I can pull that off. But listen, if Pat's pulling it off, and he pulled it off, like he pulled it off in that outfit. If Pat's pulling it off, you can pull it off. Give it a shot. Surprise your wife. Do something different. Surprise your girlfriend, your fiance, whatever. Surprise her. I guarantee you won't regret it. If you don't win the gift card, code TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire Swannies order. Link is in the description. Check it out. We got a great show, like I said, tonight. Great week, PGA Championship, second major of the year. Don't forget, top 70 in ties make the cut here, Pat. And they got to beef it up. They got to let some of these PGA professionals get in there and do something. We had Blocky Mania last year. God. Well, we might talk about him at the end of the show. We're gonna break down all the ranges, give our thoughts on where the chalk could be, some possible cash game selections if you play 50-50s and double ups, our pivots, the chalk we might be willing to eat on, snack on a bit. We're gonna do a 5K draft at the end of the show. Gonna have a good time with this one. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, just remember, it's a major. This is gonna be Valhalla is not the greatest major championship golf course, I think, but it's gonna still be a challenge. Looks like the weather kind of the same as last night. Looks like we're gonna get some rain. These Zoysia fairways that they put in after 2014 are going to be soft. Ball doesn't really roll out very far. Plus, it's going to be wet. I think you're going to have to hit it a long way. You need to hit it long off the tee. Going to have to hit your mid irons and long irons well. Going to miss some greens. Get up and down from the thick rough, it appears. Make some putts on these pure greens. Winning score probably in that 8 to 12 under range. And just remember, like we say every major, the variance is real. Guys are gonna underperform that you think are locks, and the opposite is going to happen. So don't be afraid to embrace the variance. Get you some ownership leverage involved. Don't eat all the chalk. You can eat some of it. Don't eat all of it. Okay. We talked about a lot of these guys from a betting perspective, outrights, placements, top 20 locks, and all that. We did that on the betting show. But tonight it's DFS. And just remember, it is a different game where you're trying to beat other people. Okay. So you can't treat it like your betting card. It's different. Right? Pat, anything else to add to that?
No, I think you're right. It's definitely different. This is also, I mean, it is by far one of the strongest fields that we get every year in a major. So I think there's a lot of different guys you can go to. There's a lot of good pivot options that we'll talk about, I'm sure. And yeah, I mean, every year it's at the PGA, it seems like you see somebody in there that you would have never expected. And I mean, last year, yes, it was Michael Block, but whatever. I mean, I'm talking about like there's other people, freaking. What's his name that won this golf tournament? Y.E. Yang wins a golf tournament. Bob May at Valhalla last time they were, well, not last time they were here, but back in 2000 with Tiger. There's always some of those people that are up there. I think if you do your research, you look at BTN, you look at some models, you're going to find some people that you can definitely pivot to that won't be chalky.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this 10K range. Just the 10K and up. You've got John Rahm at 11. I thought it was interesting that Rahm came in 500 more than Xander. I mean, they're giving, everybody's making a big deal about John not having won on Live yet, having a lot of top 10s, having a lot of success. Obviously, he's a major champion, done well at the PGAs in the past, but I thought that was interesting. You've got Rory at 12 even, Scotty at 13-2. It is confirmed Scotty and Meredith had the baby. It is a baby boy. I hear his name is Jesus. I don't know that for sure, but I'm just guessing. But anyway, they've had the baby. He's healthy. He's here. 10K range. Obviously, all these guys pretty good, but I think we would all be in agreement that the top 5 are the 5 that people are going to gravitate to the most. There's a lot of value in the 5K range. It's easy to make lineups with Scotty. Pricing is soft. There's some good players down there in the 5K range, even scattered amongst the PGA professionals. And Rory coming in hot off his Wells Fargo win. Last major championship he won was here at Valhalla 10 years ago. Xander's obviously playing well. Brooks coming off the win in Singapore, his last time out at Live, and he is the PGA king and your defending champion. Plus, you have Ludwig. Now, I will say, Pat, I saw an X today floating around there. Ludwig played today, and there was a lot of apparently he had a knee brace on, and there was some adjusting of the knee brace a lot. So we'll see. We'll have to monitor that situation. But I think the easy thing is Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa in the 10K range are your 2 guys that people are avoiding. So the question is, now you and I both faded them in our season-long outright bet last night. But if you had to play one of them, if you wanted a juicy pivot that gets low ownership come Wednesday night, you're building out lineups, you're looking at these guys, and you're like, I need a little leverage up top. I don't think you have to do it, but if you were, which one would you prefer? That's where I'm going to start you off tonight.
I think 100% Colin Morikawa. And here, I mean, I'll first go with the form. He had the T3 at the Masters, 9th at the Heritage, T16 last week at the Wells Fargo. Obviously has a very good PGA Championship record, has won here before. Another top 10 the year after that. Now, the year he won was certainly an outlier. It was a COVID year. There was nobody out there on the course. It was a little bit different. But it was a new course that a lot of them hadn't seen. It seems, I guess a lot of PGA Championship courses are ones that some of these new guys haven't seen. But I just think that if I'm talking about a guy that I trust more with some upside of those 2, to me, it's Morikawa. Now, if you're looking actually at like the BTN model, they're literally right next to each other when it comes to the stats. Cantlay's
See,
55.
my model on BTN, he's 40th and Cantlay is 62nd.
Okay, well, in the BTN model, Cantlay's 55th and Morikawa's 56th. Now I can switch to my model, and I can actually tell you where they are on my model, because I made a model for this one,
Did you?
DB.
There you go.
I don't do it every week.
It's a
but I
major
did
week.
It's a major week, so I did a model, and I'll tell you right now, I've got Morikawa 25th,
Ooh.
and I've got Cantlay 62nd.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way Cantlay's close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I like Morikawa more if I were going to pick one.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't
that's-
know. I think there's a good chance, those two guys go heavily under-owned.
Very much. They will not get to double digits.
Whoa, double digits?
I don't think they
They
will.
might. I don't know if Cantlay will. I could see Cantlay at 8 or 9%. I think Kawa does, though, especially if Ludwig's knee thing kind of scares some folks off. Maybe they drop down to
Yeah.
Morikawa. But I don't think either one of them crack like 12.
No.
That could be crazy, but I mean, these top 5 are going to be a lot of lineups are going to start with a couple of these guys. It's easy to do, like I said. Very few lineups are going to start with none of them.
I thought you were going to ask the first question was going to be, of the top 5, who do I think is going to be the lowest owned? And I was going to say Jon Rahm.
I think it could be Ludwig now.
I mean,
could be. It could be. If it's not Ludwig, I think it's Rahm. It also probably depends on your contest. Don't you think? Like, if you're playing in the Millie Maker,
you're going to have some exposure to Lud. If you're playing in a single entry, you're probably going to be a little more nervous to do it.
Yeah, and like I feel like the Millie Maker, the more popular, like the small dollar Millie Maker, what is it, like 25 now or what?
Mm-hmm.
The more public contests, those guys tend to just do more writing off of live guys. And especially when they go, well, John hadn't even won at live yet, and he finished 40 whatever at the Masters, 45th at the Masters, like, and he's the third highest priced player. I could see those folks not playing Rahm as much. But realizing that, like, oh dang, my eyes were open to this young kid Ludwig at Augusta, and maybe playing him and not even knowing about the knee injury. I don't know. Maybe people are smarter than that now. But
do you think? I think Ludwig is a very good example of this in majors, especially. Everything is under the microscope, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's very important to be on social media for a lot of reasons when it comes to golf. But this is where I think things could get a little bit overblown. And I actually sometimes, well, not sometimes, I try to not get too caught up in what's going on social media major weeks, because everybody has an opinion on things. Everybody wants to show the rough. Everybody wants to show how difficult something is. And everybody wants to see Ludwig in his knee brace and overanalyze everything. It's like that for all the majors. And I get it. There's more media there. There's more people there. There's more eyeballs. But I don't want to see Lud's knee brace and then have me totally get away from him what if he goes out and he's perfectly fine and freaking shoots lights out this week?
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll be upset. I'll be upset if so-and-so freaking took me off of it because I paid attention to his Twitter account with Ludwig working on his knee brace.
Yes. I mean, listen, I'm with you. I can understand, like, there can be some overreaction to some of the videos. I've already seen the rough videos out there. Our friends at Golf Bet put out the rough videos. Shout out Golf Bet. I think that already dropped. But I mean, it is something to monitor. The guy withdrew from a signature event last week, like a $4 million purse. It's something to look at. Now, we do have.
I agree there.
We kind of have an insight into Ludwig. So I think by Wednesday night we could have a good idea of how things are looking there.
Get in the chat, the Nut Hut chat.
Got to be in that Wednesday night live chat, which, by the way, this week features Joe Idoni of Tour Picks, or at Tour Picks, the host of Preferred Lines. Joe Idoni will be joining us Wednesday night in the live chat on Discord. Our friend Byron, the Model Maniac, will be in there as well, as he is every week, dropping all his nuggets, all his sheets, all his goodness. His showdown content, his live betting stuff is fantastic. It's in the Discord every week. Click the link in the description. Join the Discord if you're not already in it. You're not going to regret it. But yeah, I think it's, who would you rather have then? Like right now, I mean, obviously it's Monday. A lot of decisions are going to be made between now and then. Ownership's going to take shape. We're not like fully committing, but who would you rather have between John and Ludwig right now? Right now,
Between who?
Rahm and Ludwig.
Because you cut out. It was like we were on a cell call for a second there.
Thank you.
I'd like to have Rahm.
I think I would too.
I think Rahm is just. It's not the injury thing really creeping in as much as Rahm really intrigues me from, I think where his ownership could be compared to the others up there. Obviously the talent is there. I mean, he's unbelievable. I think I just feel good about him in some DFS lineups.
All right, you got to fade Brooks, Rory, or Scotty. You got to fade one completely out of the bunch. Who's your
That's an easy question. It's Brooks for me. I don't care about the Singapore win. I think it'd be crazy to say you would fade Scotty at all based off of what I don't care about the baby and all that kind of stuff. Rory coming in, playing as good as he's played in a while. Brooks has the most question marks of the three. If you're a risk-averse person and you want to play the person you think has the least amount of risk up here because you're going to be eating chalk anyway, I think Brooks is the one that I would just rather leave out.
I think I agree with you. I mean, I said it on the betting show last night. Like I did not think I would be here on the Monday of Valhalla, that I would be as on board with playing Rory as I am right now. And yeah, I mean, I think fading Scotty is, I don't know. We'll have to see again how all this ownership stuff shakes out. Another big advantage to the Discord is our aggregated ownership projections that we put together, that our boy Spaz drops on Tuesday nights and also come out again on Wednesday nights before the chat, where we can really get a good idea of where ownership is going to be, how lineups are going to be constructed, and that'll make a big difference. But for now, I mean, it is tough to ignore Scotty and Rory, and for me and Rahm apparently. So we're also seemingly out on Xander here.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I mean, Xander's going to finish T3 and probably get you plenty of points for his 10-9 price.
I'm scarred.
Yeah, he hurt you last week, didn't he?
I can't blame you for if you want to play Xander and you're just hoping that you get in DFS especially, you're just hoping you get the top 5, which it could easily happen. Xander last week, and this is this goes around in the Discord, or has been since Sunday. It wasn't like Xander was terrible on Sunday. I mean, that was a hard golf course, and freaking Rory's just played an amazing round. If you go look at the stats for Rory, it's ridiculous. Rory went out and just won that golf tournament. So I think we can be a little hard on Xander at times because he's been a couple years since he's won, whatever else. But I just think this week I'm probably going to have a good amount of Rory, and then I'm just going to kind of skip over Xander and go into the 9K range.
Do you think Xander's career ends with a major victory?
What do you mean? He quit?
Is he going to win a major in his career?
I think he could, absolutely. Yes.
Not could he? Do you think he will?
No.
Okay. Okay.
He can.
See, there is a difference. Yes.
He can.
I agree.
But
he has the chops. He has the talent to win it. So what would it take? Like, what is the concoction? Because like Xander arrives in fantastic form, ball striking form, around the green putting. Like he's got a runner-up, an 8th, a 5th, a runner-up in his last 5 events, including the Wells Fargo runner-up, the 8th at Augusta, and the runner-up at the Players. Big dick events.
Mm-hmm.
You just said he got run down by Rory at Wells. He didn't really choke it away. He got run down. He lost to the number 1 player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, at the Players. He's got a solid record at the PGA, solid record at majors in general. So, like, what is the concoction that has to be, created in the lab for Xander to win a major? What kind of major would that have to be?
It would have to be the Open Championship, and Xander was like 8 shots back, and the weather was great on a Sunday when he teed off, and he shot 6 under, and he just had a fantastic round. And then all of a sudden the weather came in and just like wiped out all the players in front of him. And then he just ended up, he was the last man standing and he won.
Okay. Yeah. He's already at the bar, at the pub, thinking it's gotta be an Open Championship, serious weather wave advantage. Maybe he's on the right side of a big draw advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does just feel like everybody just, for him to do it, everyone just has to lay down.
I don't think he's going out and just taking it like Rory did on Sunday to him.
No.
You can see it.
Xander is
literally on the golf course. You can see it happening when he's missing shots, easy shots for him around the greens, putts, leaving them way short.
Xander's the bar of soap in your video last night. Just absolutely taking it.
He is. It's just, and I don't think I like Xander. I like Xander a lot. I just think that
if you were at dinner with Xander, okay, because this is how Pat. I can see that this happens with Pat. When you go to a dinner with Pat, you've had a couple drinks. Okay, we've had a couple drinks, and now we're into the wine portion of the dinner. Then Pat gets into the rosé.
Now
Pat gets into the rosé, and I can always see it coming. If we're with a group of people, maybe new people, you can see the wheels turning in Pat's brain. He's starting to formulate questions that he wants to ask this person, and you could see it coming. You could see it forming and building, and it just takes him a few minutes to kind of like get there on how he's gonna. And then he's like, let me ask you a question. So if we were sitting there with Xander and we're at the table, we're having a nice glass of wine, and you're relaxed and Xander's relaxed and we're all getting along, and you want to ask Xander a question, and you take a sip and you go, let me ask you a question, Xander. What would your question be? What would you ask him?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I can. I'm not in the right mindset for the way you want me to be because I'm not drinking any rosé or anything right now. So I don't really know. I mean, because the wine and the rosé brings out some things in me that I don't know where I'm going to go. But I would probably say, like, Xander, what's wrong with you? When
yeah, this is exactly how this would go.
What is wrong with you when Rory's chasing you down and you can't hit a easy bump and run?
He called out a bump and run game.
Yeah.
Xander, have you ever thought about the bump and run? Be honest. How much do you practice the bump and run?
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe one day we'll have that opportunity. All right. I think it's enough of the 10K range. We know that Colin and Cantlay are going to be the low-owned guys. Everybody's going to make their decisions up top. We'll see how it shakes out. none of them are bad options, of course. None of those top 5 to me are bad options, especially in DFS, even though there's some question marks with a few. Do want to thank our friends at Bet the Number. We've already mentioned them a bunch of times already on this show. The Bet the Number model was the first model out in the industry. They had the field loaded on Thursday. The model was out on Friday. Do not forget that they will be on site, as they are every single week on tour and for majors. They're on site, and they have already told us that the model could be updated based on weather and based on the conditions that they are seeing. So if you are one who plays off the Bet the Number model that gets posted and made public, then you need to refresh before you really lock in your stuff on Wednesday, maybe. So just be on the lookout for that. It may not change, but it may. So do that. But if you want to make your own model, then you can do what I do, and you can just look at the Bet the Number model and add to it and just do your own thing, which is what I've done. It's a good time. It's the best golf data and analytics up and coming system out there on the market. We're pumped to be a partner with them. They partner with the PGA Tour. They get all the shot link data live. It is a fantastic site. You'll not regret it. Give it a shot. And if you do, and you use code TJ, which gets you $5 off the monthly membership and $50 off the annual membership, your first 7 days, this whole week is free. No strings attached, free. You can cancel, you can get out if you don't like it, but I promise you, you're going to like it. Super user-friendly, developed by very, very sharp minds in the space, people who have worked with PGA Tour players, with the Ryder Cup over the last couple of years, with golf data and analytics, golf course data and analytics for years, behind the scenes, calling the shots at Bet the Number, putting in only the golf data and stats that you need and eliminating all the trash that you think you need that I promise you, you do not, okay? You do not need strokes gained Kentucky in here, okay? We don't need it. It's okay. You're going to be fine. So check it out. Link in the description, betthenumbergolf.com. And if you are a paying member of our premium Tour Junkies Discord service, you can DM myself or Pat, and we will give you a one-time unique code for the biggest discount available on Bet the Number anywhere. Biggest discount. So send us a DM. Say, boys, love the show. In the Discord, I want to try out Bet the Number. Hook me up, and we'll hook you up with an even better promo code than the TJ code. All right, let's move on to the 9K range. Just the 9K. That's all we're looking at here, Pat. It's from Cam Smith down to Cam Young. I will start here and say this. If you're going to play cash games, if you're going to play a 50-50, double up, something like that, which a lot of people don't do anymore. We don't do a lot anymore. We used to. But if I were going to do it, I'm going Cam Young. I actually would start cash lineups, or see myself starting cash lineups with Cam Young. Even though I know he didn't play well, he didn't finish well at the Wells Fargo. He made a couple bonehead mistakes on Sunday. The around the green play was bad. It's his problem. But I still think with his major pedigree, with what he's done, with how this golf course suits him, I think Cam Young is a solid play here in the 9K range. I think for that reason, he's going to be also one of the chalkier plays here in the 9K range. I would guess that your low-owned players here in this spot are going to be the likes of, I actually think Cam Smith. I think Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland. Do you think, is it in that order? Is it a different 3? Do you think Neiman maybe gets overlooked as a live guy that people are kind of out on, that doesn't have a great major record? You think people are a little afraid of Willie Z and his injury situation, not really doing his thing? Like, what do you think? Who do you think are the lower owned pivots here?
I think the lower owned pivots are, I do think Cam Smith. I definitely think Victor. And I'd probably put Willie Z in there. And I don't know if Justin Thomas is going to be as low owned as you think.
He was higher than I thought last week. That's for sure.
And he's not.
But then we both thought last week.
I get that he, the Masters and that run of the Players, Valspar, the Masters really kind of screwed with people's heads with him. But then, played better at the Heritage which was an elevated event, T5, T21 at the Wells Fargo, has a very good PGA Championship history. Obviously, he's won twice. I don't know if he's going to be as low owned. So I would say like of those 2 or 3 I mentioned, I think Victor's probably going to be the lowest owned. And then I would say Cam Smith. or maybe Willie Z because of the injury concerns
Yeah,
and
that's what
stuff
I'm
like
saying.
that.
This is a tough.
Yeah. But it
Justin
makes me want to
Thomas.
play a lot of these guys. Like I think there's a lot of them that you could just fire in on, take a risk on. Victor
Justin Thomas is going to get Justin Thomas gets the middle-aged dad vote. And if you're in one of those contests, if you're in a big GPP and a lot of dads play, like Pat's dad plays in that, I think JT still gets some votes.
I'm going to get my dad to send his lineup on before the chat on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And I think you and I should
disclose.
What do you think the odds are that he has Justin Thomas in there?
I think it's probably plus 150, which is good.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's really good.
If we had some disagreement, like you thought, nah, he's not going to have Justin Thomas, I might have to.
Your dad is going to have Justin Thomas in the lineup.
Yeah, he will. Let's find out. We'll find out on Wednesday.
Who's the chalk in here? I think Bryson is teeing up to be pretty popular, and it makes a lot of sense. This golf course seemingly sets up really well for him. 2 T4s in the last 3 PGA Championships he's played in. Major winner. I think him and Cam Young. I don't know what to think of Wyndham Clark. I don't know what people are going to do with Wyndham Clark. I think people are going to play him to an extent. I just don't know if he's going to be like chalky.
I don't think he's going to be like super chalk, like in the range that we could see Cam Young, Bryson. That great. I actually think Max Homa and Wyndham might be fairly close to each other on the ownership.
I actually agree. Bryson's going to suck in a lot. People go up and down. I agree. And I like Homa more. I know you're surprised.
Me too.
By that.
Well, yeah, but I agree. I like Homa more. As a matter of fact, last night on the betting show, I think I had him. Yeah, he was in my top 20 locks. I do like Homa more than Wyndham Clark. I still have a hard time trusting Wyndham Clark, and I don't know why. He hasn't proven. I mean, he hasn't done many things to prove me, to make me think you shouldn't trust him. I mean, he's won this year in an elevated event. It was rain shortened, but he's won a U.S. Open. He won the Wells Fargo last year. He almost won the API, the Players.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of good things. And I do think there is a faction of people that mostly play these bigger events that will play Wyndham, that'll bump his ownership up a little bit. But I still think it's going to be fairly close to Max, and I would take Max over Wyndham.
I think I'm completely out on Willie Z.
I am too.
I don't think we have the same Willie Z still. I know we've seen flashes. I know he played okay at Augusta, T9, pretty good at Augusta. But like his off the tee game, his approach, like I don't know that he's still. I get that he withdrew from the Byron Nelson, was citing the neck back thing, which it's the Byron Nelson. Like it would have been a lot of golf for him. He does need his rest. I get that. I'm not trying to overblow the withdrawal reason, but I do think there's something. I still don't think he's the Willie Z that everybody is wanting and waiting on yet, even though he's at moments shown it. I'm not willing to invest in that right now.
Do you think at all that it would help, or it helps you maybe think about playing Willie Z because of the bent grass greens this week? And he seems to putt well on bent grass. Now, I am not looking at his numbers just on bent grass. I'm just saying, like, in general, if you think of Willie Z, you think, all right, he always has played good at Augusta, which is bent grass greens.
Pat, did you watch my course breakdown video?
I did, but I skipped through things. I don't know. I don't.
Our friends behind the scenes gave a nice little nugget about these bent grass greens, and I dropped it in there. It's subtle, so you had to be paying attention. But
yeah,
I don't. It's really not that. Like I'm not. It's not the putting. It's just he's not the same elite ball striker. Like you could look at his PGA Championship record and go, he's got a runner-up and a T8 in 2 PGA Championships. I get that. And I know the T9 at Augusta, but it just doesn't seem like he's doing it. It doesn't seem like he's still that dude. Like He's played in. This is his third major in almost 2 years. That's it. And he withdrew from the Masters. So this is really his second. And then he finished T9 at the most recent one.
I think the form coming in scares me almost more than anything else than the stats. There's a lot of guys that I can look past stats for. This is every week that I can look past the stats if I see the form. Yeah, Sepp Straka is a perfect example of this last week. He wasn't like up there on everybody's model and everything, but the form was looking pretty good. He was scoring.
Yeah.
Things were happening. I don't know what all the combination was, but it was happening. And I put him on the card. He didn't win, but he was up there. You kind of can take some players and look past the stats a little bit. Willie Z is one of those where the stats don't necessarily look that great, but also the form looks pretty terrible, other than the Masters.
I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I'm looking further back.
Like
he did finish 4th at API and runner-up at the Genesis and 13th at Torrey.
Okay, but his last 5 have been miscut T74, the top 10 at the Masters, T44, and T60.
He has, if you go back and look at his player profile page on Bet the Number 2, he's lost ball speed. And I'm, some of that's obviously the injury and changing his swing. The last 100 rounds, he was averaging 179 mile an hour ball speed. Now he's at 176, which is still above average. But that 3 miles an hour makes a big difference. And I don't know. I just for the price and for the popularity that you tend to get with him, I think I'm probably willing to wait and see. If I get burned, I get burned, like I did on the golf course. Neiman is one I've got my eye on as a pivot here in this range. And honestly, the more I see about Valhalla, we'll have to see how it shakes out. But just talking about pivots, I mean, because like I like Bryson, I like Homa a lot. I like Cam Young as a cash play, but Cam Young could be so chalky that it's a fade in DFS. But if I'm talking about like some low-owned pivots, I think Neiman, and actually I'm kind of coming around on Cam Smith. I don't like Cam Smith to win, but soft Zoysia, wet Zoysia means these fairways are effectively going to play a little wider for him. I don't know. I'm kind of coming around. I bet he's overlooked a good bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. I like Cam Smith. I was going to say, before we even really got into this range, Cam Smith was one of my favorite pivots up here. I don't have him as an outright. I don't necessarily think he wins, but I think he can definitely give you plenty of upside. And he has a pretty decent PGA Championship record the last couple of years with 2 straight top 15 finishes. And I think, you just look at his putting, you look around the green. I mean, whenever you get to majors in general, when the rubber meets the road, DB, when the rubber meets the road, you got to scramble and you got to putt. Okay?
Yes.
Cam Smith can do that. That was me. That was Mr. Dad. That was Dad.
Okay.
Older, I was 7 years older than you, talking about just giving you some advice. By the way, happy birthday. I heard you turned 40.
Shut up. I do have Cam Smith as a possible early target for my Thursday round 1 prop card, because even though I like him, he is at 2.5 bogeys or worse, and I'm going on the higher side on our underdog pick'em game, just because, I mean, that's what Cam Smith does. Like, he's going to bogey a bunch of holes. He's going to birdie a bunch of holes. That's kind of how he rolls. There's they've already got the pick'em numbers up there on Underdog. You need to check it out if you haven't already. They've also got plenty of good PGA best ball drafts this week. You're going to want to check that out too. I'm going to do a live best ball draft stream on YouTube on either Wednesday or Thursday. Stay tuned for that. Check out the YouTube channel. We'll knock that out. And if you haven't already joined Underdog, they're legal in more states now than ever. They just added Michigan for the best ball draft. So if you've been waiting on Michigan for best ball, you need to get signed up and get involved. And then the pick'em states continue to increase, and your boy continues to be the pick'em god in round 1. Earned everybody in the Discord 9 units worth of profit last week. Did it again the prior weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ahead of that. I'm on fire for round 1 Underdog plays in the Discord. So get in there, click the link in the description. It'll take you straight to the sign up page if you haven't already. Code Junkies, and that link gets you a special one-time play that's legally not a free square, but almost a free square, kind of a special promo play, plus up to $250 in bonus cash, depending on your deposit, which is a better deal than what they've been giving. It's only been 100. So take advantage now while the offer is there. Click the link, use code Junkies, help us out, help Underdog out, help out the people who help us. Underdog, second-year supporters of the Tour Junkies podcast. We appreciate them coming on and doing their thing. And
people
yeah, that
helping
people helping people. And that Cam Smith bogey number 2.5, I think I take the higher, even though Thursday looks to be pretty benign. Just very, but there's some bogeys on this golf course. And Cam Smith's good for a sprayed driver. He'll have at least one. But then he'll chip in like 3 times,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to the 8K range. We've got Matty Fitz all the way down to Patrick Reed. So I started the 9K range with one of my cash plays being Cam Young. Since yesterday and doing the betting show, Pat, I was doing some research this morning. There's another guy that I think I'm really in on. And I don't know that I realized how in on him I should have been last night when we were doing the betting show. But his major you think you got it?
Mm-hmm.
His major performance record recently has been tremendous. His form this year, actually, pretty dang solid. Who do you think it is?
Well, I may have changed my mind.
Oh, okay. Well, now you have to guess.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. I was gonna guess Patrick Reed, but now I'm gonna go to the other end of the spectrum, and I'm gonna guess Fitzy.
You would be wrong on both accounts.
Damn it!
No, it's Tommy Ladd.
Oh yes. Okay. Damn it! No, we can't do this. No.
Yeah, it's not an outright bet. It's just a DFS play. Like, it's also I'm leading off here with my cash play. Like, I think Tommy Ladd in cash
I would
is
agree there. Actually,
one of the better plays in this range, if not the best play in this range. His major record. I mean, listen to the last few majors: 3rd, 10th, 5th, 18th, 33rd, 4th, miscut, 5th, 14th. That's since 2022. He's got one miscut in there, and then a bunch of top 10s and 20s.
Tommy Ladd is your PO.
Yes,
he is.
He
I
is.
mean, if you're laying your head down on at night, your sweet little head, and you wanna just feel comfortable about anybody in this range, and not you want to sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite. That is going to be Tommy Ladd. I would agree there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and he may be chalk that I just go ahead and num. I may num.
I hate when people do that.
Do what?
Say num.
You're not.
It drives me crazy.
I mean, how many times
if they say num or nom, like if they're writing it something like they write a social media post or they're putting it in a text, like you're like, oh, I had a steak for dinner. It was nom. No, you can't do that. That's not, especially a male.
Who are you texting? Like, who are you texting?
I don't know. I see it on social media and stuff. People put nom on Twitter or X. I hate that. And especially not for a male. TikTok.
Yeah. Oh my God. Look at what I made in my air fryer. It was so nom. Me and my sisters just decided we're going to watch a movie and eat these nums.
Yeah. Oh my God. I tried sushi for the first time. It was a California roll. It was so num. But it's not real sushi.
Well, Fleetwood is chalk on my num. I will say.
Please don't say that. Don't say that on this show.
Oh, I'm saying it. The other chalk in this range that I think the only other chalk in here I think is Sahith. We talked about Sahith a good bit on the betting show last night. And I like that too. I feel like Sahith may have a better chance of actually like pulling off something crazy and winning this thing than Tommy does. But I think I like Tommy's floor a little better than Sahith's floor. Other than that, I don't know. I think this could be kind of a spread out situation in terms of ownership. Do you think anybody else in here gets like heavily owned?
I don't.
Anybody else in here that you might have to num on the chalk?
Fitzy is actually on the chalk. I really am interested to see what's going to happen with Hideki. Did you mention him, or was I
No.
too worried about your nom comments?
Yeah.
I mean, Hideki has played well this year. He withdrew last week, pissed off a lot of people, but
he's going to be fine, right? Like
he's going to be perfectly fine, and he's going to play well, and there's going to be people that jump off of him. I think. Another pivot to me is actually Patrick Reed.
Really? I
think that Reed is, in my mind, he's just a gamer, and I wouldn't say the major record is like fantastic. He has been good in PGA Championships.
Ain't bad.
But it's not bad. And you look at his scrambling and his putting, pretty good. So I think that, and Reed, nobody ever likes to play. You're going to get some ownership leverage 100% on Reed. So I'll be interested to see what happens with him.
I mean, in terms of a guy at 8,000, since 2020, he's missed one cut in a major.
I think he's a very smart player on a lot of these hard golf courses, in my mind. And this brings a question I was going to ask about Sahith. Is there a way, and maybe this is an offline conversation, DB, but I would like to actually know, like, who are the best players, or who does well that doesn't drive it that accurate, but on less than driver golf courses they're a lot better. I think there is. Now you can look at the numbers on this course and say it's a big golf course, it's a long golf course. But a lot of things I'm seeing, and I think we'll see more and we'll know more when we get into the chat Wednesday night when we talk to people boots on the ground. But I feel like there's going to be a lot more holes that you have to dial it back on, and you can't hit driver. And somebody like a Sahith, if you're just looking at the numbers and you're looking at him, on the surface, he's not that accurate off the tee, right? But if it's a less than driver course on a certain amount of holes, I might be more inclined to play Sahith if he hits fairways on those type holes. I don't know. I don't know how to look that up.
And I think Sahith's accuracy is kind of improving.
Yeah,
I think if you sneaky look at the numbers, it's improving a little bit. Like in the last 30 rounds, driving accuracy, he's actually ahead of Hideki. He's 76th in this field. Hideki's 83rd. Now, obviously, some of that's skewed. You got the LIV guys, you got some DP World Tour guys, but he's not that far off.
How many rounds did you go back?
30. I went 30.
Okay, so it's a slightly different in my model, which I went back 36. And it's Hideki 82nd and Sahith 72nd. So it's very close, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at this, 24.75. Yeah, so if you look in the last 75 rounds, so let's zoom out, Sahith. That's probably back there a little bit. His average driving accuracy was 54%, well below tour average, 54. 176 mile an hour ball speed. Okay. Last 24 rounds, driving accuracy is 59%, right at tour average at 60, and the ball speed is 178. So he's not lost ball speed. He's gaining accuracy. I think he's kind of figured out how to control that driver a little better.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's a narrative that people have had with Sahith for good reason. You've shown it just in what you're talking about, but he has gotten more accurate, and it's helped his play out. And I think, on a course like this where he is, he could certainly move it out there Sahith is very interesting.
And big finishes this year in big boy events. I mean, could have won the Century, runner up at the Century, lost to Chris Kirk. That's a big event. Fifth.
How about this? The second at the Heritage should tell you a little bit if there are some lesson driver holes out here, because there are a lot of lesson driver holes at
You have to hit
Harbortown.
proper sides of the fairway there.
You've got to hit the right spots. You can't just blow it out there like Quail.
Now, he didn't really gain strokes that week. He was basically even, but still
finished second.
But yeah, I mean, 5th at Waste Management, 6th at API, 9th at the Players, 2nd at the Hair. Like, Sahith's been, I think he's improving. Yeah, I'm in. But I do think he is going to be one of the chalkier plays.
I agree. But I would eat that chalk, I guess, is what we're kind of getting at after all of that.
All right, pick me a pivot out of these guys. Okay, I'm going to give you some names: Spieth, Sam Burns, Shane Lowry, Tony Finau.
A bar of soap. I mean,
you have to pick one.
As much as I really want to go Shane Lowry, but I can't do it. I think I'll go
Shane Lowry.
I want to go Shane, but damn.
I think it's Shane Lowry. I mean, I know it's so bad. His putting is so bad, but maybe he rides a little bit of the Rory momentum after the Zurich, and he's okay. But I mean, the ball striking is fantastic. His record at the PGA is fantastic. He doesn't have to fill it up, right? Like he doesn't have to shoot 15 under, I don't think, to win this week. But God, the putting is just freaking dreadful. It's so bad.
Yeah.
But I still think it's Lowry. And I actually think he might be one of the lower owned. Well, I don't know. Burns is going to be pretty low owned, I think.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk 7K range. You got Jason Day all the way down to Adam Schenk in this range. Not a ton of chalk here. I got a few names. I will say in cash, one of my favorite plays in this range, and he's also in the chalk discussion for sure, is Byung-Hun An. We talked about Benny An last night on the betting show. Lots of reasons to like what he's doing right now. Trying to put in a little message to Ben about the putter the last 2 weeks, because he's gained 11 strokes putting. I would love to know what's going on there. So maybe we'll find that out. We'll drop that in the Discord. But Ben On is a cash play for me. So like Cam Young, Tommy Ladd, Ben On, and cash. I think it's a solid start there. Really like those guys a lot. But in terms of the chalk, I am guessing it is going to be Ben On. I think you've already mentioned him once today on the show. We talked about him a good bit on the betting show last night. I keep saying that. But Sepp Straka, who's just playing exceptionally well right now. T7 here last year, T8 at Wells Fargo, T5 at the Heritage, hitting it well, putting it well. Doesn't miss a lot of fairways. Doesn't hit it super far, but doesn't miss a lot of fairways. Keeps himself out of trouble. That's going to bode well here. I think he'll be popular. I think that I got two other names. I think Noren is going to stay popular to some extent, 7,200. After that, the only other one that I have in here that I think could get some love. You think Akshay is going to get some love? Because like A, he's just Akshay and people love Akshay. B, that he won the junior PGA championship at Valhalla here in 2018, 6 years ago, is going to run around. Do you think he gets a little extra bump, or do you think it's pretty, or am I just missing it on Akshay? Or is there other people you would throw in there?
Well, both. I mean, Akshay, I do think is going to get some love and have some ownership in this range. I think actually, and this person could be higher owned than Akshay. I think Steven Yeager. I think Steven Yeager is going to be. He's going to be up there, and I know he's not going to check a lot of people's boxes when it comes to like the accuracy and a few other things. Probably. Well, I mean, he just actually his ball speed's not bad, so yeah, I think that
approach plays been a little.
But if you look at just his form, is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's going to show up in the models so you're going to see form. You're going to see, somebody who's checking boxes. I think Jaeger is going to be up there and with some ownership. And I think when you're looking at lineup construction, he kind of fits right in there well, especially when you're going up there. If you're taking a Scotty or a Rory up top, and then you drop down in that 7K range and you start to look at the low 7K range, I think a lot of people are going to find themselves playing Jaeger. And so that's why I think he's also going to have a little bit of ownership too.
I think my favorite chalk plays or potential chalk plays are Ben On is number 1, Straka's number 2, Jaeger's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play a chalky Akshay. Probably won't play a chalky Norin, even though we've been riding Norin for a bit.
I mean, Akshay's played one major. Let's not.
Yeah, let's pump the brakes.
Yeah.
So let's talk some favorite pivots here, because I got some. This is where you can really differentiate yourself. Maybe it's just listen. No, we've never claimed to be like professional bettors, okay? Because a professional bettor would probably not let his recency bias get the best of him here. But my God, my boy Dean Burmester in Miami just paid me greatly with that 30-1 40-unit hit on my live betting card. And right now I'm just living and dying by my live betting card every opportunity I can get. And it's 7K. Me and Dean's had a great year on live. He hits it plenty far. I think he's going to be completely overlooked. Maybe not completely, but there ain't many people playing Dean Burmester. He's got some major championship experience. His best finish was a T11 at the 2022 Open Championship. This will be his 8th major. So it's not like he's not Akshay out there. And he's just playing it really well. And he got the special invite into this tournament. I mean, the live guys have to. They've got to take advantage of this stuff. And I just think that extra bit of motivation, extra bit of focus is going to help a guy like Dean. 7K, it's a low investment. I like Dean. I like Dean as a pivot. And similar reasons, I'm interested in what Gooch's ownership turns out to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Gooch has said a lot of things. He's got to back it up. There's some pressure on him. I don't know that I'm going to be like hyper eager to jump all on it if it begins to approach chalky compared to guys around him that are at half the ownership. I'd much rather jump off and not do it, but I'll be intrigued.
Well, yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not really sure why we would hate on Minwoo Lee too much.
You know what, Pat? I actually have Minwoo written down as a possible pivot.
I think look, he hits it a long ass way. He can work the ball like crazy. He hits that damn 2-iron. Everybody loves that 2-iron. But he does a lot of things well that can translate to wins. And he has a good major record. When you look at a guy that's, very early on in his career, he's still played a lot of majors. I mean, relatively, to his age.
Yeah, really has.
So,
and he does have a good record.
So I think Minwoo is a very good pivot option if he's not high owned, which I don't think he will be.
It's crazy how good his record is, considering how bad his iron play is in majors, just like every other freaking tournament.
Iron play in general is not great, but I think he still has the thing that somebody like a Rory, and I'm not saying he's Rory, but he has the weapon that Rory has. And that's a big advantage in a lot of golf tournaments, which is that off the tee game that he has. That not a lot of people have the same one that he has or Rory has or whatever. So I think Minwoo makes that weapon, when used properly, which tends to be in majors, right? Because they're like they're such big golf courses.
Premium on driving, yeah. But Minwoo's not going to be like a full-on pivot though, because people like.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not going to
let him cook. You got to let him cook.
Yeah, He might be he might be lower than what we've been seeing him. I think people are starting to to wear. I got another pivot for you though, and people listen to us, you're going to be like, yeah, no, not super surprised, but I think Keegan at 71 is interesting. What do you think about old Keegan? He's a PGA champion.
Yeah.
I
think, yeah.
Yeah. He's got plenty of major experience. Hasn't had the best year. He started off pretty hot, runner up at the Sony, 11th at Pebble. It's kind of been downhill from there. Irons have been pretty Keegan-esque last few tournaments, having some struggles off the tee. Putter is what it is, but I mean, he doesn't lack for distance off the tee. It's just I think it's more of an accuracy thing. Yeah, it's more of an accuracy thing, but it's not terrible. I don't know. He feels like he's got some upside for me at 7,100. Has some solid finishes here at PGAs in the past. Could be an interesting upside guy. I mean, I'm sure he'll be lower owned than Noren and Jaeger, right there, sandwiched.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
between them. And I mean, upside like top 5. I trust Keegan to pull that out somehow. I mean more than Noren, and maybe more than Jaeger in a major.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. It'd be close for me with Noren.
I mean, Noren's clicking. Definitely clicking.
Where's
I'm
your-
out.
where's
Guys,
your
I'm
list?
out on. I'm out on Harmon. I'm out on Tom Kim. And I'm out on Jason Day. Completely out.
Of those 3, I would say Day's probably one I'd be okay with playing.
Any other thoughts here in this 7K range?
That's it. Nope, nothing.
That's all you got? Move on to the 6K.
I'm out.
You're done?
I mean, I'm not out. I'm not done with the show. I'm done with
And
17.
that's just a walk-off.
Yeah.
Thanks our friends at SoBet for partnering up with the Tour Junkies one more again, second year in a row. For just 33 cents a day, you can get access to 60 plus of the best sports handicappers on the earth and the moon. And you get exclusive plays from us every single week on SoBet, golf bets, every sport imaginable, vetted handicappers handpicked by the team at SoBet to come on the platform, dish out their plays, be transparent with why they're making the bets they're making. Unit transparency. I mean, where are you getting unit transparency? You're not getting it anywhere, really. If we're honest, let's be honest. You're not.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. It's a great thing. Our friends at SoBet will hook you up with the first month for just $1. If you click the link in the description, it's going to pre-fill code TJ in the promo code. First month for $1. Every month after that, just 33 cents a day to tail some of the best handicappers in the sports betting world. Crushing it in baseball, crushing it in basketball right now. Of course, golf is hopping. Hop on in and enjoy a little bit of SoBet action. Cancel anytime. Give it a shot. Like we said, support the people that support us. Thanks to our friends at SoBet. Let's get to the 6K range, and then we'll do our 5K draft and get out of here, Pat. All right, listen. I got 4 names in here, but one name stands alone. And I did some research, Pat. I love Keith Mitchell. Okay? I love Keith Mitchell. But I was looking at Keith and I'm like, why? What is it? Why am I so infatuated with Keith Mitchell right now? What is happening? Why am I so into this? Why is he checking all my boxes? He is currently 8th in my model at $6,600. 8th. I put time into this model, Pat. Time. Real time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 columns in my model. Okay? He's 8th. You know what I figured out? You know, Keith's always been really good off the tee. Distance and accuracy. Okay? Keith's got that. He's got it. Carry distance is good. Accuracy's pretty good. Good total driver of the golf ball. 3rd in this field. Last 30 round strokes gained off the tee. But I started looking at bet the number and I'm like, man, look at all that approach play. Okay? So let me just educate you here. Going into this year's PGA Championship, of the events that he has played in 2024, starting his year with the Sony Open in 2024, he has gained 32.73 strokes on approach, Pat. Okay?
Okay.
One event in 2024 has he been negative in approach, and that was the first event of the season, Sony Open. Okay, hadn't played in 3 months, comes out a little rusty. No big deal. In the same time frame last year, leading up to the PGA, he started off his year at the Sony Open. Leading up to the PGA, he had gained, ready for it, negative 13.05 strokes on approach. Still hitting it great off the tee. Have we seen a level up in Keith Mitchell like we saw Wyndham Clark last year for the U.S. Open? I mean, that is a 45-stroke difference in the span of his first event in 2024 to this event right now. Same kind of calendar situation. It's just the short game is not great.
Yeah.
But in a major, I am very much in. I love Keith Mitchell. He would be a cash play in the 6K range for me if you had to do it. I know he doesn't have a great major record. He's got a lot of major experience. He just came off of his best major finish at last year's U.S. Open, which was a T20. But now he's getting to play his first major with his newfound iron game. And I just think that Keith is a solid play in this range. I really, really like it. And if he's chalky, I might still do it because I am considered by some to be kind of a ding dong. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it.
I think if there's any cash play in here, Keith Mitchell's the one. Now, I do think he's going to be chalky, but I think he's the one. Because of all the things you've said, the form's been good. Really sucked that he didn't win Valspar because it just kind of went sideways on Sunday there. But I agree. I do think another one, despite the fact that you're not going to see the ball speed numbers and all that kind of stuff, but just the consistency of play and the iron play, which is just absolutely amazing in general, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes, and that's Tom Hoge. I think Tom Hoge is going to be a little bit chalky as well, and he's just so consistent. Now, I was interested to pull his, and where is he? Where did I lost him again? Hoge, where are you? Oh, there you are. Major record. It's okay. I would say actually the best is probably the PGA Championship of the majors, which doesn't surprise me because he kind of like, Tom Hoge. If you said that if you'd never,
oh yeah, I know where
if
you're
you
going
had
here.
never played like new golf or whatever, and you were like, name some guys in this field that are club pros, Tom Hoge would be up. Like he'd be one of the first ones you.
And then you see his picture, and he's like, and you're like, oh, that guy's a club pro.
Yeah. But yeah, the PGA Championship is where he's had his best finish actually in a major, top 10 in 2022, T9. But made the most cuts at the PGA Championship. So if there is a one that Hoagie's going to play well in, it's going to be this. So I do think Hoagie's one that's down there in the 6K range that I like. I mean, there's others.
I got three more. I like Kitayama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kitayama's best finish in a majors is at the PGA. Finished T4 here last year, and he's had a solid year. Nothing fancy, just solid, and it's all putting holding him back. I mean, it really is. He's gaining plenty of strokes off the tee on approach. Mid iron, long iron game is fine. Kitayama's a lot of value at 6,500. I think he's got real upside here, as he demonstrated last year at this event. So putter straightens out a little bit, or you don't have to fill up everything, and he does okay on these pure bent grass greens. I think he could be good. I'm still very intrigued by Taylor Moore just because even in his off weeks, like he had last week at the Wells when I was high on him, he has very few off weeks where he's just like doing a lot of things very poorly. It's usually like just average or I don't know, but then he has these spike weeks, and in the spike weeks, Taylor Moore just can kind of get it done on, it seems, a lot of different types of golf courses. Had a really good stretch there. Valspar to Masters with a 12th, a runner-up in Houston at Memorial Park, which is a big boy golf course, and then a T20 at Augusta. So I kind of like Taylor Moore at 62, and I'm going back, man. I talked this guy up last week. I said, let's ride the hot hand at the Wells Fargo after the win at the CJ Cup. Taylor Pendrith. I mean, 6K, he hits it far. He's confident, and he putts well, and he's got major championship experience. I think we talked about him on the betting show last night. He's played in 3 majors, a 23rd, a 29th, and a missed cut. That's 6K. With the momentum he's got, like, I think that's a tremendous value for Taylor Pendrith. So I'll keep rolling there.
Yeah. There's always the guy that, like, every week when you're going through research, especially in majors, and you just don't, like, he keeps popping up and you just keep looking at him, but you don't want to play him. You don't trust it at all. And for me, it's Seabass this week.
No.
But listen, DB, just listen.
I don't do Seabass. Seabass sounds like I'm big into, like, you know what I've been watching lately on Netflix is all these jail shows, jail documentaries.
Okay, I don't.
Seabass is a jail drug. You know, they make hooch, they make Pruno, they do jail things where
I thought you were going to say he was the warden.
No. Seabass is a type of narcotic they make in jail with, like, Cheetos and Benadryl pills they're supposed to take and, like, some hot water. Like, that's what they do. It's crazy how they do it. I don't know. Me and my wife have gotten really into these jail documentaries.
Does it taste like a Cheeto?
Well, I've never had it. I've never been to jail. I can get regular real person drugs.
But I mean, they don't talk about it. They don't they don't say, like, oh, that's a.
Oh no, they act like it's delicious, but there's no way it can be delicious. But it sounds like it's like, hey, yo, come to R19. I got some Seabass up here. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you go get it and you try a hit and you're like, oh, well, it's good for jail, I guess. But it kind of actually sucks. If I were on the outside, it would be terrible.
If it was bad, would it be it'd
be a F-Bez.
Like a Funyun?
Ugh.
They take a Funyun and do something with a Funyun. What would you do with a Funyun? What kind of drug would you make with a Funyun? What would that do for you?
The kind to put me to sleep and never wake me up again. Those things are disgusting.
If you're getting a Funyun in jail, that's like they're just saying, like, you're about to have your last meal before you go to the.
If I went to jail and they get commissary, they get people from the outside that put money on their account so that they can have commissary foods and, like, snacks and stuff. But people will send them, like, bags of goodies. What would you send me? What would you send me?
I know exactly what I would send you.
What would you send me?
I know what I would send you. I would send you some almonds. And
I can't believe you led with almonds.
I would send you some almonds. I would send you some Skinny Pop.
Skinny Pop? Are you reading something right now? What are you even reading?
No, I'm just thinking about it. Skinny
why are you
Pop.
looking over?
And then
Skinny Pop? Oh, that popcorn I love. That white cheddar popcorn.
Yeah. I would send you because you like to have a sweet. You need a sweet, and I would give you some, like, Skittles or something.
Oh God,
yeah, that's what I would send you.
Yeah, I would just send you a bag of Dawn bar soap.
Golly, thanks a lot. Friendship over. Seabass, to me, look at his play, man. I'm telling you, this dude has made 13 to 15 cuts this year. He's got, like, 8 top 25s in his last 5 events: T13, T9, T25, T28, T6. He's just playing really good.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, it's hard not to feel like if the floor is pretty low there. Like, you don't. I feel like if you put Seabass in your lineup, you're probably like, there's a cut maker right there in the 6K range that has some upside. It's hard not to see it if you really look at it.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
Well, I was with you on Kitayama.
Yeah.
And I do 2 more. I think
There's a lot of freaking golfers in this field.
There really are some. It's hard to. I think Taylor Moore. We kind of continue to look at a little
I
bit.
just talked about him.
Oh, sorry. Well, then right beneath him, I got sidetracked when you were asking me about commissary. Billy Horschel's another one.
Ooh, all right.
Billy Horschel's just like a game timer, you know, like he always kind of shows up at some point. He just won this year. You know, I I heard him on PGA Tour radio today. He did an interview.
Here we go.
he seemed very confident. Even as a matter of fact, Michael Collins asked him about like you just been playing well recently, and it's like just the word recently kind of ticked Horschel off because he was like, actually, I've been playing well all year long in his mind. So I don't know. I think Billy Horschel's one to look at too down here. That's all I got.
Pat's weekly PGA Tour radio update of the week. All right, let's hit it with the 5K range draft here. You've got all the PGA professionals. Blocky's in here, Pat. You know, I mentioned underdog earlier. Blocky's over under for bogeys or worse. Round 1, 4.5 is the current pick 'em line on underdog. You take the under,
over,
you take the higher or the lower there.
Over
5 bogeys.
Blocky is gonna be blocking it out all over the place.
It's a long golf course for him. He said last year if he had Rory's distance, he'd be a top 10 player in the world, but he doesn't.
He's not.
And he's had a hell of a year. You know, he's probably exhausted. I think I kind of like the over too, but I tend to be an unders guy. But I think the higher may be the way to go. Anyway, all right, I'll let you start the draft. Kick it off. Who you taking 5K range first?
I think there's actually there's some good players in here.
There are.
And I'll start with one. I think this could be stealing from you a little bit. This guy I like, and it's Victor Perez.
Yep.
At 5,700. He's going to check a lot of boxes. You look at the approach play. You look at, his driving accuracy is good. He's real consistent across the board. Other than his scrambling isn't great, but finished top 15 last year in the PGA. So Victor Perez will be my first pick there.
He's got a lot of major experience. Not a lot of great finishes, but he's been doing better the last few outings. I like Perez. I think at the top, I mean, Bobby Mack's interesting coming off his T13 at Myrtle Beach. I mean, not a similar course, but I mean, I think Bobby Mack does well in majors, but I don't think I want it. I actually think a guy who has also leveled up his driver. We know this for a fact because we put people onto it earlier in the year when our friends told us about it. But Mav McNeely has leveled up his driver, and I think that's going to help him a good bit here. He's got some ball speed. He's a little more accurate now than he used to be. The longer irons are good. The short game we know is good for Mav McNeely. Not a ton of great major championship success, but I think Mav's got some upside. So I'll go Mav.
Okay. I don't think you're going to like this. I don't think you're going to think this is a great course fit, but I think Mackenzie Hughes.
I looked at Mackenzie Hughes. I was on him last week, shockingly, for the Wells Fargo. I don't hate it, man. I mean, it's weird. He is either going to freaking I don't know.
I mean, Wells is a big course, right? And he was T6.
It is. Ride the hot form or be prepared for him to absolutely get beat by every PGA professional in the field.
Yes, but
go home.
He's at 5,800, and the dude just can putt and scramble and do it. And he actually isn't that short when you look at ball speed numbers. I mean, he's 65th in the field. There's a lot of players in this field, so he's So we'll go Hughes as my second pick.
Oh gosh, this is about to get strange. I think I want to go with the disgusting play. This could be. I mean, this is honestly a wash my mouth out kind of play. I'm not going to do it, but I think I'm going Patrick Rogers.
Oh my God, you need to wash your mouth out.
He's the ball speed is there. The greens and reg. The long iron play is there. T5 at the Heritage. 29th this past week at Wells Fargo, 29th at this event last year. He's played in 5 majors. He's missed 1 cut. It was in 2017 at the PGA. T32 at the US Open last year. I just think the floor, the made cutout opportunity, and even a little bit of upside is there. I think a top 20 is in the cards for Patrick Rodgers, and it's so cheap. I can't believe I'm saying it myself. It doesn't feel great to say, but I just have a feeling about Patrick Rodgers this week.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to throw you for a little bit of a loop here, DB, and I'm going to go with actually a Corn Ferry player in Tim Whiting.
Oh my!
Tim Whiting has won 2 events. He won back-to-back, and this is not just like a month ago. This is in the last 3 weeks. He has won 2 events. He is one of the top players in the field in approach. I mean, on the Corn Ferry Tour and approach. He's a great iron player, and I'm riding a hot hand a little bit with Tim Whiting. So I think a lot of people look at him and think that's a club pro, but he's not. Look him up on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's already basically going to be on the PGA Tour next year, but he could be the first since maybe Steven Yeager to get that Battlefield promotion with 3 wins. So I think Tim Whiting is very much worth looking at here in this 5K range.
Tim Whiting. Did not see that one coming. I like it. All right. Well, I bet you'll see this one coming. I'm going Jordan Smith. We know
I love Jordan Smith. Yes, love it.
We know I love Jordan Smith in majors. He is playing on the DP World Tour. He's got plenty of major championship experience. He's made 4 out of 7 cuts in majors, including his last 2, T41 and T20 at US Open venues. His best finish in a major was at a PGA Championship where he finished T9. Hits it long, hits it pretty accurate too. Good total driver of the ball. On the DP World Tour right now, last 5 finishes, 23rd, 24th, 37th, 21st, and runner-up. Also leads the tour in stroke average, 2nd in greens and regulation. Jordan Smith, just a fine player out of England. Top 100 in the world guy. Like I think Jay Smith knows what he's doing, has the experience. He's cheap and he can score. He's popped up on leaderboards in majors before. He hadn't stuck around, but he's done it. He's felt it. I think he could do it.
I like it.
Is that it? No, you got one more.
No, I did 3.
You did Whiting and Perez.
And Hughes.
Oh, Mackenzie Hughes. That's right. I didn't want to write him down.
Yeah.
All right. That does it. Support the show. Support the sponsors. Leave a comment. Get yourself in that drawing for that Swannies gift card of $125 online. We're giving out 3 of those. Don't forget to check out all the other Tour Junkies content going down this week. Full slate. We got emails. We got blog articles. We got the Discord chat Wednesday night with Joe Idoni, our boy Byron, the Model Maniac. It's going to be a good week. PGA Championship, 2nd major of the year. Appreciate you watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. And make your screen be great. See ya. Out.